This is GBC 24 and GTV. Good evening. It's time for the news, and we do apologize for the late start. It was due to circumstances beyond our control. I'm Akushika Kwe with Conrad Kakraba for this package.
Coming up, we are taking you to Lambusie, where there is no road to anywhere, and two DR Congo groups smoke peace pipe to end conflict.
The Ghana Armed Forces says it is concerned about the illegal use of military equipment and uniforms, especially camouflage types and other accoutrement, by members of the public. One major concern of the Ghana Armed Forces is the use of the uniforms by criminals to perpetrate crime, mostly robbery, fraud, illegal mining and extortion.
A statement issued by the Directorate of Public Relations of the Ghana Armed Forces says severe punitive measures will be taken against troops who engage in unauthorized disposal of their uniforms. And additionally, anyone caught using military uniforms illegally will be dealt with severely.
Whenever it rains heavily in Lambusie and surrounding communities in the Upper West region, many school children are either unable to go to school or are forced to spend the night in school.
This is because the roads become so waterlogged they could pass for rivers. Abdul Hai Mumen reports that the same situation is discouraging women from accessing antenatal care, a situation that has led to cases of maternal and infant deaths in the area.
With little infrastructure in rural Ghana, it is very difficult to distribute food. As statistics show, more than half of the rural roads in the country are in a very poor condition. This is Lambusie. Poverty in this area appears to be increasing because lack of infrastructure makes it isolated. According to a World Food Report in 2009, only 25% of the people in rural areas have access to markets within 2 hours. Despite this apparent issue, national programs still tend to focus mainly on the construction of major roads, since small roads would have a smaller economic impact. Sina and Dinde are neighboring communities. However, the people hardly trade with each other because there is currently no bridge linking the two. The story of Chognori and Liero is similar. The situation is so bad that even though the community has a new school block, the pupils are yet to start using it because the road leading to the school is not even conducive for walking. Berkwon and Kunsi are communities that have not seen a vehicle in a while. This is because the only bridge linking the two communities to the rest of the country is not wide enough to accommodate any vehicle. To date, this community does not have any electricity supply. This is because the vehicles carrying electricity transmission equipment cannot cross over to the community. When it rains, students are sometimes forced to spend the night in school.
When it rains, we can't pass, so we go back to the school and sleep.
Pregnant women do not regularly visit the antenatal clinic because the roads are simply too rough for them. This has led to some maternal and infant deaths in the area.
During rainy season, the nearby communities, they can't cross. So they always prefer, maybe, even most of the delivery, they deliver in the house. They don't even come here for delivery because they can't cross the river. It's always full.
The district chief executive for the Lambusie Kani district, Bom Kofi Diaka, said the assembly is speeding up efforts to develop the district to improve on the living conditions here.
Around Felmo, my grader is lying down there. When it's work on, I'll finish the road that you are talking of. So when the grader went there, we were able to work on Chebuko, Kiligan, Chebuko Below, Chebuko Bully. So we're about coming to Lero Fielmore Road. And for that matter, Lero, anything when the thing got down. So and I'm assuring you that we are working on it. When it is fixed, we go and work on those things.
National targets for growth and poverty reduction rely heavily on an effective road transport sector. The inability to access jobs and services because of bad roads is an important element of social exclusion which propels poverty, such as what exists in Lambusie and surrounding communities. Abdulhai Momin, GBC 24, Lambusie.
The government has pledged to make more roads in the country motorable despite scarcity of resources. Goso and Domahinkro were two towns in the Bunahafo region very important to President John Mahama's recent visit, where he campaigned for endorsement of his candidature in the NDC primaries. The president says despite being a sole candidate for the slot, he is campaigning to highlight the party's respect for democratic principles. A report by Napoleon Atukito.
The people of Bunahafo region refers to President John Mahama as Akonta because his wife hails from the region. It characterizes the special bonds between the first family and the region. Both the president and the first lady were in the region as the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC, goes on a cross-country to educate party supporters on its upcoming primaries. It is the basis for which the party can throw its hat in the ring in the 2016 general elections. This time around, all card-bearing members of the NDC are eligible to vote in the primaries. The NDC intends to conduct a free, fair and transparent primaries, hence the creation of a large electoral college. The president first paid a courtesy call on the paramount chief of Sunyai, Nana Bosoma Nkawire, before proceeding to undertake other activities.
Akwani bibrewo doma inkro empotemo efi breku meko drobo doma inkro eko nkran kwanta nina sa akwani na yesiesie nti enenso ye koka doma inkro foso na ye de asobo fom senebe ya ejuma no ebeko enim ring road na na ka no e kwan ada ho ache se eya ahomtema sunyane fo na ye hwe se eya priority road e wose ye nti ye sheda eyi contractor papa Kofi Job obi enim na ejuma se na city o mfidie se otimi ede bo ejuma ntem nti ye sheda yi no se na be ya obetimi aye sa kwan ne ye hwe se afia bebe enche be bosom mienu bosom miensa ko bosom na no ewie
ye dia brown ye 50 yeah from dia 80 and 70 and then na ye ko he said abambia paswa ni nyuma pa ni ye hwehwe say wo busia na de ye aduma na enye busia bono no na ke say wo de ye aduma pa it said that ho be pa so.
Afterwards, what was originally planned to be an interaction with party supporters at the Jubilee Park turned into a mini rally as more and more people joined the gathering. The party announced development projects in the Bunahafo region. It was here in Sunyai that the president, Mr. John Mahama, called for a clean campaign towards the NDC primaries. In the party's constitution, a presidential candidate requires just above 50% of the vote to become the flag bearer in national elections. The sitting president is running his party's primaries unopposed, but is campaigning for endorsement by the rank and file.
Former General Secretary, MPP, Sir John, or Madam Fo, or say, Sro Delegate Neja is Samai. If you say Samai, the cemetery hall or drain the home, send Obeya for heaven. So delegates there on what we are saying. And the assistants are Yedia Ba, Obia or year registered party member, Obetimi to Abanibi. And afedie medrufie efi say empenyifo say baby a ojapade wo no eho na wakoma wo.
Bonafo region is one of the swing regions in national elections. The ruling NDC won the region in the 2 previous elections. Napoleon Atukitu for GTV.
Meanwhile, President John Mahama is asking members of his party to organize a decent campaign ahead of internal primaries early next month. Addressing party supporters in Sunyani, the Bonahafo regional capital, the president said the in-house elections to choose a presidential and parliamentary candidates should be devoid of foul language. Another report by Napoleon Atukitu.
People of Bonafo region refer to President John Mahama as Akonta because his wife hails from the region. It characterizes the special bonds between the first family and the region. Both the president and the first lady were in the region as the ruling National Democratic Congress, ND.
We'll bring you that report shortly. Chiefs in the Upper West region have met over the proposed 40-year long-term national development plan at a regional consultative forum at Wa in the Upper West region. The paramount chief of Lora, Na Puwele Kabo, said the plan, if well developed and implemented, will ensure an industrialized and independent economy for the nation.
The Regional Consultative Forum is to collate views of the public and other partners on the 40-year long-term National Development Plan. Through this, the National Development Planning Commission is able to explain the rationale for the plan to the people. The document focuses on social, economic, environmental development and governance, among others. It attracted various groups of people, including political parties, students, persons with disabilities, and civil society organizations. In their presentations, the NDC, NPP, PNC, CPP, PPP, and GCPP supported the 40-year development plan in principle. The paramount chief of Lora, Na Puwele Kabo, spoke on behalf of the Regional House of Chiefs.
Our vision is for Ghana to become a high-income, industrialized, independent economy structured on the use of our resources and propelled by the values and beliefs and rich cultural heritage of our people.
A representative of students called for the establishment of more vocational and technical schools as part of the plan. Dr. Isaac Mensah-Bonsu of the NDPC explained the rationale behind the proposed 40-year plan.
We can dream big, but as long as we plan, as long as we determine the strategies to reach our dream, we will live it.
A policeman who survived a gunshot from armed robbers in 2010 says his health is continuously deteriorating. Doctors say he needs urgent attention abroad to save his life.
9-year-old Corporal Oseibunsu and 2 other police officers were attacked by notorious armed robber Johnson Kombian, also known as Gakun, in 2010 at Bumprugu Yonyo in the northern region whilst in the line of duty. Kombian, a native of Napanduri, and his accomplices in an attempt to snatch guns from the police, shot at the policemen, killing Constable Prince Ejari and Constable Owusu Frimpon, leaving Corporal Oseibunsu severely injured. Corporal Oseibunsu told our reporter that his health has been deteriorating since the incident 5 years ago. Doctors say he can only be treated in the UK. He has made several consultations with his authorities in the service who are in charge of processing and facilitating his departure for treatment, but nothing is being done about it.
I was asked to do a lab test, which I did. Since then, I have not heard from the police administration.
His wife, Juliet Opokua, said her husband's leg has a metal implant due to the injury and sometimes liquid oozes out of the leg. She said the family lives in discomfort and often have sleepless nights.
If he does not get any financial assistance now, his health will deteriorate.
Corporal Osei has been in the police service for 10 years but is currently crippled as a result of the accident during the robbery attack. He made an appeal to the general public to help him go for the surgery as his condition is deteriorating. Welcome to the business news brought to you by EcoBank, Hisense and Airtel. My name is Esther Adu. The Chief Executive of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, Mr. Alex Mould, says the Jubilee partners are putting in place plans to build the capacities of the local subcontractors who took part in the construction of Ghana's second FPSO, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, to enable them build the essential parts of FPSO vessels.
The floating, production, storage and offloading vessel of the 10 Fields FPSO, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, was officially completed in September this year, and the vessel is expected to arrive in Ghana by February 2016. Partners say the completion of the vessel is a significant milestone in the development of the 10 fields. However, one significant feature of the FPSO Professor John Evans Atta Mills was the participation of local companies in the construction of the vessel. Companies such as SeaWorld and Awesome constructed the deck and pipe rack stools for the vessel, which provided the foundation for the process and utility systems for the FPSO. The stools and racks, which were built to meet international specifications, are the ones that grabs the vessel to the seabed. The involvement of the Ghanaian companies in the construction of the vessel, according to the Jubilee partners, is a key strategy towards building local content in the buoyant hydrocarbon sector. In an interview with the Chief Executive of the Ghana National Petroleum Companies, GNPC, Mr. Alex Mould said the development of local content in the oil sector also has the objective of making Ghana a hub for construction of the various essential parts of the FPSOs.
The various models you see here were built in various areas. Part of the models were built in Vietnam, part of it was built in Indonesia. So the hub around here is something that we want to establish in Ghana, in West Africa, where we can start building modules for FPSOs in West Africa, working with Nigeria, working with Equatorial Guinea, and working with Angola and Ivory Coast to see how we can develop the same sort of skills that is developed here.
The Chief Executive of Talo Ghana, Mr. Charles Daku, said Talo Ghana is committed to building the capacities of all the local companies in the sector to enable local players participate fully in the oil industry.
The vision is to, ultimately have Ghanaians work on these vessels. But as you can imagine, in the industry, you need to get experience and certification. So we're progressively bringing more and more Ghanaians on board. And yesterday I was talking to some of the young Ghanaian engineers here who have participated in the work so far. Some of them have been here for upwards of 2 years. And there's an incredible sense of appreciation and pride of what they've done to blaze a new industry.
According to the Minister for Petroleum, Emmanuel Amakofibua, the government is in talks with a foreign stakeholder to have the next FPSO fully constructed in Ghana.
The Ghana Water Company is calling on government and the media to step up efforts aimed at curbing the activities of illegal miners in the country. According to the company, most of the water bodies from which they draw fresh water have been polluted, causing the company to incur huge costs on purifying chemicals.
It is taking the form where illegal mining activities, that's the galamsey, is being undertaken in almost all the river basins where we abstract our raw water source for purification. And let me give you an example. In the Brim River, so my galamsey activity is being taken, is being done within the Brim Basin.
to the extent that the water is so much polluted that we are spending more money on chemicals. You know, I illustrated by giving you a graphical presentation where we were spending only about 5.5 million Ghana cedis on purification of water by using chemicals. Currently, as I speak, we are spending 40 million Ghana cedis on chemicals to purify the polluted water. Besides the chemical cost that is going up, we still are witnessing a situation where the silt content of the muddy water is also destroying our pumps. So we need money again also to replace the pumps and to also expand our services.
The Managing Director of Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation, BOST, Mr. Kwame Ewadako, has said in the next 4 months, BOST and the Tema Oil Refinery, TOR, will together produce the highest quality petroleum products at the lowest price.
With the various plans we are putting in place, it will become difficult when we start the refining plant, which we hope to do in the next few months. It will be difficult to close to impossible for anybody to bring in petroleum products cheaper than we can produce it in Ghana at a very high quality. And I'm very excited because there's a full level of commitment from the management and the staff of the Tema Oil Refinery. In fact, last week, the workers signed an agreement with management where they will defer their November salaries. This is almost going to lead to an injection of about 3.8 million cedis, which is their monthly payroll, into the company as part of their contribution to helping us come out of our current financial distress.
GBC 24 and GTV. Let's take this story again. The government has pledged to make more roads in the country motorable despite a scarcity of resources. Goso and Domahinkro were two towns in the Bonohafo region, very important in President John Mahama's recent visit where he campaigned for endorsement of his candidature in the NDC primaries.
The president stormed the Bonohafo region, making sure he was well bonded with the area in terms of the number of development projects the government has undertaken there, of which there are many. He first headed to Goso. The paramount chief of Goso traditional area, Nanakwesi Bosompra, commended the government for bringing numerous development projects to Goso district.
Na contractor wo ye memu adwuma no enukure ni busa regional minister so nim contractor no a na so ntumi nya kwan no a wonche no homa ye ma contractor papa ma ye kwan emsa wo ko hwe airport road Fatajan road gata waya areho.
President John Mahama said he was most delighted with the warm embrace of the people as he made his way to Goso. He said no one single area will be forgotten in the distribution of the national cake.
So we share your brother half for Hankwa and Yuma your dear contract. I just said baby contractors no I shall say ye Juma. Kofi Bedu Chrome Junction. Ekopem Kofi Bedu Chrome. Tepa Junction and so ebe pem Goso ha. Free Gambia number 2 ekopem Chiremansu Kwine. Domahinkro ekopem Nkran Kwanta Kwine. Goso town roads just say akwanya ewo Goso ha and also eka ho. Domahinkro town roads just say Doma Ahinkro no Krodiano and also the town roads ka ho.
It was well after 6 p.m. when the president proceeded to cut the sword for the reconstruction of the road linking Goso through Achirensua to Tepa. Works had already begun before the president undertook the exercise. Same was done for the road between Domahinkro and Kofi Bedu Chrome. This road links the Bonohafo region to Ghana's western border with La Côte d'Ivoire. There are signs that the contractor of the project was already working, having scraped off the bitumen to make way for asphalt laying. President Mahama intimated that the Cocoa Rose project are in 5 phases and that they will span a wider area by the end of the process. At a debate of chiefs and people of Doma, the paramount chief of the area, Osiadeyo Ajiman Bedu, spoke about the voters' register.
Yewra,
What are Roma? Sasem the man batum. Media Mraka kra, Doma for them co school and Kongueno, who said Ghana Amamra Constitution. Electoral Commission and Kwan Abatro Asway no bank one about Kwane Sabede. Betim Chile Yen Yana Fofro and I say Yen ba ye betim achre se bedini ebefrim. Number one ya there and son of a bay say no Nipanabia de Nadjune or ya de Oba. Meka na me electoral commission. Benkum ni funding na bayamadishe. Dan fan okre enkwane nye adwuma.
The NDC's General Secretary, Mr. Johnson Esiedu Nketia, and President John Mahama educated the audience on the politics of the day.
Bakwa MPP for the buyer committee no ya trans ya botugu ye any say yense register. Modi aba ma ya ba to agu. Afe ya the report wa ye nyina agree upon. Edi aba abeto electoral commission anim say o man no nyina no ya dwenkyire ni say electoral commission fanya adwuma. Mo free ho a no masan achi asan ko prepare document for fraud the aba say Monkwa de ye nyina ya ye no achi no monkwa amadwe ne say chenchira ba bia mujira na mujira say yensesa o man register.
This was one trip where traditional rulers broke ranks with convention and openly talked politics. Napoleon Atukito reporting.
Let's do some health news now, brought to you by FPAC. FPAC blows away your pain. Preventive care ensures that individuals, communities and institutions are in good health and not prone to disease. This, according to members of the Ghana Association of Quasi-Government Health Institutions, if well institutionalized in Ghana, will make healthcare very efficient, thereby saving huge sums of money paid to healthcare providers for treatment purposes.
In Ghana, today's health market requires consumers to pay for prescribed medications with monies which could otherwise be used to invest in preventive care. The price of some monthly hypertension medication ranges between 100 Ghana cedis and 250 Ghana cedis. Diabetes patients also purchase some monthly drugs for 110 Ghana cedis and 150 Ghana cedis. Health experts say if non-communicable diseases like hypertension, stroke, and diabetes are not hereditary, then the possibility for one to prevent it is high. At the 4th biennial conference of the Ghana Association of Quasi-Government Health Institutions, it was made known that currently Africa's health system focuses on curative rather than preventive care, and Ghana is no exception. Institutionalized preventive care goes a step further to create a healthier system where there are occasional health screenings and blood tests, establishment of infectious control systems, and the health campaigns like the promotion of public health enhancing lifestyles.
Like we see from GAC, it is like a project trying to see how best we can really get it down on the ground. And that's why it's key for us to have inputs from this meeting, so as we inculcate it in our preventive healthcare efforts.
The national president of the Ghana Association of Quasi-Government Health Institutions, Mr. Kwesi Darko-Enyeje, re-echoed the need for Ghanaians to be accustomed with preventive measures that would help avert preventable deaths.
We don't want just to be reporting on how many people came with malaria, how many people did this, what happened, but I want to come with how many people went jogging, how many people were educated, how many people came to take their pressure, how many people are conscious that if I stop doing this thing, I can minimize the effect of this disease on me.
The 4th biennial conference of the Ghana Association of Quasi-Government Health Institutions is tagged Integrating Preventive Care into Ghana's Healthcare Delivery System.
Hajara Mohammed is suffering from a critical hole-in-heart condition. She therefore needs the cedi equivalent of $8,000 to enable her to undergo corrective surgery.
10-year-old Hajara Mohammed was first diagnosed with a complex hole-in-heart condition
called tetralogy of Fallot when she was 6 weeks old. Due to this condition, Hajara is unable to breathe properly and also gets tired easily. Also, she finds it difficult to perform the most basic activities. To correct the abnormality, she needs to undergo corrective surgery at a cost of $8,000, which is the cedi equivalent of 30,008 Ghana cedis. Hajara's family is therefore appealing to Ghanaians to help them raise funds to meet the cost of surgery.
Please, don't Nebi, please, I'm begging. Any small amount, it will go a long way to help us. Philanthropies, companies, anybody, I beg you, please, just try and help us.
Donations may be sent to the following account details. Account number 01504 0533 8000, High Street Branch, or contact 0274 77 8516.
In other news, leaders of two ethnic groups in the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed an agreement intended to end a conflict which has killed hundreds and displaced tens of thousands. Violence since May 2013 in southeast Congo between militias representing the Luba, a Bantu ethnic group, and Tua has included large-scale massacres. The accord is expected to help reduce conflict between the Tua and Luba ethnic groups. You have sports coming up in this package. Do stay.
Some updates from the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. This is in partnership with Tobinco Pharmaceuticals Limited, producers of Lunat. The Sports Writers Association of Ghana, SWAG, has tasked sportsmen and women to add education to whatever discipline they are into. The president, Mr. Kwabena Yeboah, revealed this when he received a delegation from the Right to Dream Football Academy.
The Sports Writers Association of Ghana, SWAG, has lauded the Right to Dream Academy for its exploits over the years. Some students of the academy, led by its founder Tom Vernon and the director of partnerships James Miller, presented to the leadership of SWAG a number of trophies the academy had won at international youth tournaments in Europe this year. The gesture also formed part of the 16th anniversary of the academy based at Old Akrade near Akosombo. The founder of the Right to Dream Academy, Mr. Tom Vernon, said they are developing well-educated football stars with character training at the heart of their educational program.
But we are developing a new generation of African footballer who is educated. As we look at Waris and David Akam in the senior team, they both attended university before becoming professionals.
The president of SWAG, Mr. Kwabena Yeboah, said his outfit was highly impressed with the success stories of the academy.
I must say that at a point the presentation did not seem like coming from ordinary footballers. Let me say that this is the quintessential footballer. Ones that have character on and off the field of play. And you and I know that over the years, especially players from the African continent have struggled after their careers. And unfortunately, quite a number of them have died with pauperism and penury because they did not develop the right character, they did not develop the education very well. So once they left the field of play, it became very difficult for them to, have decent living. And we believe that the Right to Dream is on the right track, and these footballers must count themselves very, very fortunate.
Among the players who have emerged from the academy are Black Stars duo Abdul Majid Waris and David Akam, among others.
In handball news, Rennie Joe Handball Club recorded a mixed results when they played against Legonite. The ladies won and the men lost.
The ongoing Greater Accra Handball League is getting keener by the day. In one of the matches played at the Azuma Nelson Sports Complex, Renijo Handball Club in the orange jersey clashed with the Legonites. What made the clash more tense was that Renijo was revengeful after having lost their first round match to Legonites. The tempo was high as both sides were relying on quick breaks to score. But it was Renijo who had the last laugh as they won by 33 goals to 13. There were mixed reactions from the coaches.
The ability of making the ball to flow was what made us to win today. Because last time we were just keeping the ball on ourselves. In our next game, expect a win from us against the Navy here.
Legonites is a club made up of alumni and students. Apart from the keeper, all the 6 are University of Ghana students. Our only concern is with officiating. I think officiating has been very poor, and we encourage the union, the association, to get us good referees so that the game can improve.
In the men's game, Legonites proved the stronger side and carried the day.
The first in a series of Ghana and Nigeria Youth Sports Tournament has taken place at the Zuma Nelson Sports Complex.
Table tennis, lawn tennis, chess and football were some of the activities competed in during the first Ghana-Nigeria Youth Sports Festival. 8 teams made up of students from Ghana and Nigeria participated. In the final match, Synergies Institute beat Ghana First Supporters Union by 2-0 to carry the day. They received souvenirs and a trophy. The coordinator of the Ghana-Nigeria Youth Tournament, Comrade Barry Ndu, said they were impressed with the turn of events.
We hope that from now onwards, Nigeria and Ghana should continually realize that we are one people. The youth should continually see ourselves as one people. Wherever we find ourselves, let's keep living as one people, because Ghana and Nigeria, as far as we are concerned, remains great countries that Africa should never toy with.
Organizers say they hope to make the second edition bigger.
And now some arts news. The people of Anamabu have climaxed the Ochre Festival and expressed gratitude to the President for redeeming the promise made by the late President, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, to establish a fisheries college at Anamabu.
Ochre literally means abomination. In the Anamabu traditional setting, it is an abomination for an individual to behave in a manner unacceptable to the community. The festival is celebrated in every second week of October. The occasion attracts government officials, visitors and eminent citizens living in and out of Anamabu. The theme for this year's event was education and health, a means towards youth development. The spokesperson for the Omanhin, Nana Oriansa, advised parents to strive to assist government in providing quality education and healthcare to their children by playing their roles effectively. He thanked the government for the Fisheries College, which is under construction, the Anamabu town roads, and the intended market complex.
The people of Laura in the Upper West region used this year's Kombini Festival to focus on women as key drivers of agriculture. At Ideba to climax the celebration, the paramount chief of Laura, Na Puowele Kabo, said the Laura Traditional Council would soon review all negative cultural practices that impede women's access to land for agriculture.
The people of Laura celebrate Kobine to renew their relationship with their ancestors and thank God in anticipation of a bumper harvest. It is also an opportunity to display the unique culture of the people and deliberate on development of the area. The 39th edition of the festival focuses on women as key drivers of the agricultural sector. The paramount chief of Laura, Na Puowele Kabo, said women are confronted with numerous challenges when it comes to the use of land for agricultural purposes. He spoke about measures the Traditional Council intends to take to address the problem.
I would like on this occasion of Kobine, dedicated to our women in agriculture, to appeal to all chiefs, family heads and reputed landowners to make it a point to assist women to access good and productive farmlands for their farming activities. The Laura Traditional Council, on its part, will take steps to review all negative and outmoded customary beliefs and practices militating against women's land access and tenure rights to further facilitate their access to land for agriculture and other activities.
The Deputy Regional Minister, Dr. Mushebu Mohammed Alpha, said the Regional Coordinating Council will continue to collaborate with the Agriculture Development Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and other partners to address the challenges that the women face in their quest to access land to farm. The Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Mrs. Elizabeth Ufusuajeri, was worried that although women make up about 70% of Ghana's labor force in agriculture sector, only a fraction of the profit goes to them.
When more than 70% of our agricultural labor force of Ghana is represented by women, and that sector employs well over 70% of total workforce, one can say that women really are the backbone of our economy.
Thank you for keeping company with us. Have a good evening.
Good evening.